So one of the main responsibilities of the number 6 in possession is to aid playing out from the back. And here you see Ladd will drop in to support the defence and is looking to split the two attackers and provide sort of a triangle of passing with the fullbacks and the centre halves. And in doing so, it's a case of outnumbering the Arsenal 3 attackers 5-3. In doing so, you're creating a rondo-like situation whereby you've got superiority, and it's very difficult for those 3 Arsenal attackers to press and successfully win the ball, because there's always going to be a passing option when you're 5-3. So even if the 3 Arsenal attackers press onto the goalkeeper, the right-sided centre-half and the right-back, then there's always a ball through the gap between the 2 to Ladd, or out wide to the left-sided centre-half, and you can always play out from the back. So you can see, Ladd's available, and that's the option that the goalkeeper chooses. So the next thing that's important for the number 6 is to have that awareness. And Ladd's actually decided almost before the ball's come exactly what she's going to do with it. But in scanning and being aware of the pressure that now has come across from Miedemar, the attacker, and from behind, she's just, rather than turning and driving out with the ball, she's just going to play the ball back in and play away from the pressure. And that's a key component of that number 6 role, is knowing when to turn out and knowing when to play backwards and help your team play out from the back. So here's just another example where you see that Ladd has actually time and space, so she can turn, open up and play more progressively. She's aware that there's no pressure on her and that she has the time and space to play. Another key component of playing the number 6 role is acting as a pivot and switching play from one side of the pitch to the other to change the point of attack. Here you see Ladd drops and moves away from her marker to receive the ball, and then just turns and plays it from one side out to the other. The second thing that this shows, because you'll see Ladd switches it again, is that a number 6 needs to have a short passing range, but also have the ability to play longer passes, like this one, which sets up a United attack. So when your team doesn't have the ball and you're out of possession, then the number 6 role is to get pressure on the opposing midfielders, close them down. You see she forces the play backwards. When the ball gets switched to the other side, she's tracking side to side to get back on this side. Role is to snuff out things and try and win the ball. Here she steps in to try and win the ball, just misses it, but you get the idea what she's trying to do. In this clip you see Ladd centre of the screen, see her response to a transition, so loss of possession. Notice how she's scanning even though she's not in possession, scanning, looking for the danger. She puts pressure on the midfielder, causes the poor pass, and therefore United win the ball back. To get a feel of the game at all, Daniel. So in this clip you see Ladd just having a check behind her as she comes into screen here, and look how, because she's aware of that, she's jockeying side to side to cut off that pass, and she's putting pressure from a distance. And we call that shadow pressing, because not only is she putting pressure forwards, she's also cutting out the player behind, and that's sort of one player influencing 2 players by being clever with how they're positioning their body. So in this last clip of the number 6 Ladd out of possession, you see again she's tracking side to side to protect the defence. Now one of the things the attack want to do is get the ball wide and get isolated 1v1 versus the fullback. Now the defensive midfielder's job is very often to get there to support, and you'll see Ladd does this, and this saves the centre half having to come out and do it. She wins the ball, and the result is United get possession. Hayley Ladd helping out. So in this section, just want to look at Ladd, the number 6 here, and the decision making out of possession, and why she won't always necessarily press intently to tackle the nearest person receiving the ball. Here you can see she's between 2 midfielders. Initially she's going to look to go forward, but realises she's not close enough to really put any pressure on the player, and that there's also a player behind her, and it's perhaps more intelligent to protect the space behind her. Again here, why is it the lad doesn't come out to the left back? And that's because of the space she'd leave behind, which is really vulnerable because then any player in that space can attack the back four, be that the left full back or the midfielder operating in there to receive a pass. Ladd just stays in the area, the dangerous area in front of the back four. She can see that Hansen, the winger, is getting back. So she's really just looking to protect the yellow rectangle because that's where goals will be scored. Only once the Arsenal player starts to get close to that area does she think about coming across. It's also worth noting and looking at Manchester United's right back and seeing that they've not gone out to the winger on the outside. They're staying narrow. They would go out if the ball goes out there. You also notice that the two centre halves are directly between the goalposts in a good position. And so by being patient and staying in position, they're able to sort of nullify the threat